So all rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy New Year, everybody. Please be going over the minutes while we have our law enforcement report.
Good morning. Happy New Year. It's good to see everybody here. I'm happy to report this past month, and I know I've been harping on it, it seemed like a reoccurring thing, but the fraud cases have significantly dropped. Like I mentioned a couple months ago, one case is too much, and we did have one in December. Unfortunately, someone was scammed out of $2,400, which is, to me, it's still a significant amount of money. So I urge you, I had a conversation this morning with one of the residents. If there's someone calling you looking to get money, or they're telling you that they're trying to help you out, or you won something but you got to give them money, I urge you to contact authorities, contact the sheriff's office, contact your bank, someone, or even stop by the bank to confirm this type of information before you go out and get it. I promise you it's not legit if they're asking for gift cards, and that's exactly what this one was. They asked for $2,400 in gift cards. So we did have one residential burglary. I have my detectives on it currently. They're trying to review surveillance to see who snuck in someone's window and stole some jewelry. So I know with the cooler weather, we tend to want to keep the windows open, things like that, but if you're leaving your residence or whatnot, just make sure you're securing your valuables. And that goes along with it. We did have a bike theft. Just make sure we're securing it. Unfortunately, we do have people that will be able to come through the community at times. So just make sure that we're locking up our stuff. And we are continuously addressing the traffic complaints. I already had 2 of my traffic units out there monitoring the Haverhill entrance and the congestion out there, and the people that want to try to avoid the congestion through illegal means. So we're on that. We're working on it continuously, and we're hoping that we can continue having a good year this upcoming 2025 season. And with that, I'll open up the door to any questions.
Come on, step up.
I'm Deborah Fulton from Dorchester G. There's another scam going on. You're getting a text saying your iOS needs to be upgraded, and you need to click on this link to upgrade it. It's a scam. We delete it and report it as junk because I've gotten it 4 times in the last week.
Yeah, I'd like to say just, not kidding aside, I probably got 7 phone calls yesterday between Boca, Pahokee, the Glades, things like that. They're trying to come through your phone. They're going to send a text message, and they're getting smart. They're getting little basic information, which would lead you to believe that it's your information. I would just report it and delete it immediately. And I promise you, if it is something of concern, contact your bank or however they're trying to provide the scam or the fraud through. Any other questions?
See you later on?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Have a good day.
thank you. Could I have a motion on the minutes? Somebody want to make a John makes a motion, who seconds it? John and John. Okay. Are there any corrections to the minutes as presented? Any corrections? The minutes will be accepted as presented. Okay. How about our property manager's report? Go ahead, Donald, you're up.
Right up front, did you? Wow. Luckily, I was prepared. Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of announcements, and you can hear more about this later in the meeting. On the 24th of this month, which is a Friday, 12 noon, there will be a town hall meeting in this room regarding the La Quinta Hotel negotiations for purchase by the county. Commissioner Weiss is hosting it. There will be county staff that will be able to present and answer any questions that you have. This meeting will be recorded and put out on community media. but we urge all of you to be here for that meeting, and each of you should bring 2 friends. Niels, if you want to jump up, please. This will be your opportunity to get the information directly from the people that should be giving it.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
thank you, Donald. Actually, what I'd love is if you guys, I mean, obviously, I want everyone to be here, but also if you have questions that you can send to me now, please do so. So staff will be here. They'll be prepared to answer any questions, but it's best to send them to me now so we know that they're prepared to answer it. Thank you, Dr. Handelsman, for that suggestion. So if you want to send it to me, if you don't have my email, it is the word district, the number 2, at pbc.gov. So it's district2@pbc.gov.
Okay, next thing is, some of you may have seen the Palm Beach Post article that was published earlier this week on the 2nd. And this regards buildings that are in issues with Palm Beach County Code Enforcement and the Building Department, specifically Norwich B. And there were some other buildings, trouble buildings that were highlighted. The good news I can tell you is that all of the buildings that were cited in that article have made positive progress towards getting themselves straightened out, including Norwich B, which was on the brink of being, the entire 2nd floor being evacuated. They started work yesterday, signed a contract, put in a permit for emergency repairs, and they're getting themselves straightened out. And in all cases in that article, and if you haven't seen it, you could just do a search, Century Village News, it'll come right up. So we're happy to see that there's progress being made here, and that's all I got to say about that. One more thing, if you read my reports, you'll notice that this is the time of year that I make a push on cars that are unregistered, have expired registration, derelict cars, cars that haven't been moved in a year, stuff with garbage, things of that nature. Over the years, we've learned that keeping track of bum cars is a good way to keep bums from living in your building. We all should get out periodically and check our parking lots and say which cars belong to who and which ones need to be insured, registered, fixed, flats changed, whatever it is. So you'll see that next couple of months, and you all can do the same. That's all I have for this month. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Hi, this is Jean Berman from Northampton.
Good morning, Gene. How are you?
Okay, thank you. I wanted to bring to your attention, if you hadn't seen it, there's a real estate ad in the UCO Reporter, page 20, Masters Real Estate, Northampton L, a unit for sale for $55,000. It says it's completely gutted, ready for renovation, sold with materials. Nowhere in that ad does it mention anything about permits. And I'd like to know if anything has been checked into about that building, if that work was, first of all, if the unit was gutted with a permit, and secondly, you know, what the status is on that. Thank you.
Gene, obviously I didn't know anything about it, but I'll certainly check on that and make a stop down there, see what's going on. But obviously, when a person buys a unit, they inherit all the obligations associated with the unit. So if there is unpermitted work, it would be up to the board and to the new owner to make sure that everything's done. But I'll go take a peek at that today. Thanks, Gene.
You want to say a few words?
How you doing?
Morning, Al.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning, everybody. It's Al Pulverani with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Professional Firefighters 2928. Running a little late, as you can tell. I got my coffee in my hand. We had a late call last night. But I just want to say Happy New Year. It's great to see everyone. A little bit about the permitting that they're talking about. Definitely keep that, make sure people are getting permitting. And I was here a couple years ago about the load-bearing walls getting removed. Make sure you vet your construction people that are doing your work, because I'm with the specialty unit, and that could cause a catastrophic collapse of a building or floors. So definitely make sure that's getting done here. Stay safe. I know we have the influx of season, so drive with your head up because no one else is. Take it slow. It's going to be cold next week. We know, make sure you clean out your filters in your house, right? If you clip on the heater, it's going to smell like it's burning, but by all means, call 911 if that happens. But to avoid that from happening, maybe that you know it's coming next week, I would definitely pull your filters, make sure there's less dust, get someone, if you can't do it yourself, have someone clean your ductwork or whatever so you don't get that smell of smoke of burning dust. But have a great day. I'm off to an electrician that's at my house coming here shortly. I had a problem at my house, so have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you next month.
Mary
Oh.
Sessa, Northampton Inn.
Yes.
Some people don't have smoke alarms. Is there a law against that?
Al, I
Yeah.
can relay what,
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is where you're going to have to call 616-7000, okay? That's our headquarters. And then you're going to look into code enforcement, and they'll let you know all about it. And, I mean, don't quote me on this, but that building could have been built at a certain time where it wasn't necessary, but that's definitely something that I would definitely get checked. So there are buildings throughout Palm Beach County, especially in North Palm. I know one that should be sprinklered, but got the state of Florida to not let them sprinkle it. So it's very interesting to me. But yes, 616-7000, code enforcement, and they'll give you the phone number and they'll take care of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Mary.
I'd like to comment on that.
Hang on one second.
Hold on.
Mary, apart from county regulations, you, the board, can make reasonable rules and regulations regarding the units. Having working battery or hardwired smoke alarms can be a rule that you can make, and it's enforceable. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Patricia.
I had windows put in, impact windows in the front and the back. And when the fire marshal came to look at the work, he told me that I had to have fire alarms, both on the patio, and it's not used as a room, it's just the patio, or lanai, as you call it, and in the kitchen. So I think that it is a law now, because he wouldn't pass me until I had put it in. So that's my input.
Yes, sir.
Michael Brenner, Sussex E. Has Becker announced when are they going to be having the in-house training?
Not yet, Mr. Brenner, but
Okay, I know it's available online, but we have some members of the board who do not have computers. and-
Yeah, Mark Friedman, the attorney, is working on a date. He hasn't nailed one down yet.
Thank you, Donald.
You're welcome.
Irene?
Irene Bernard, Sheffield H. About the smoke alarms, we had the fire department come in and install one, 10-year battery life, that goes off whenever it wants to. I mean, we even took it in another room, put it under a mattress, to get it to shut up, and it didn't. And my husband finally cut the wires, and it stopped. But 3 days later, after it's sitting in the trash, the red light comes back on, and it's still activated somehow or other, but it's completely unreliable. I don't know what to do. Suggestion? Yeah, yeah, they go off indiscriminately. and won't
You'd have to call out maintenance for that, and if they're connected to an alarm system in the panel area, that would also have a phone number to contact the company that installed them to come out if it's monitored or not monitored. The other thing is that you definitely want it, if it's going to send a signal to 911, to get it fixed immediately, because after a certain amount of times of false alarms, that complex in Century Village will get charged by Palm Beach County Fire Rescue.
from the fire department. They came and put it.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment about the smoke alarms in my building. We encouraged every unit owner to purchase a smoke alarm from Home Depot. It's not very expensive. You put it up on the ceiling in the hallway or wherever you feel you need it, and you change the batteries once a year. And some people do cooking, which causes a little bit of smoke, and the alarm goes off right away, and all you have to do is hit a button in the alarm, and it stops beeping. But it's very inexpensive, and I think that that's what everybody in the associations, when you have your meeting, to encourage them to do.
Thank you, Stuart. I mean, common sense would tell you that you should have an alarm by your hot water heater in case it leaks, and you should have at least one smoke detector in your house, just in case. Especially that now that we're a little older and we can't move as fast, if that alarm goes off, it might take you 10 minutes to get out of bed, you know? So you want one that, most of the new ones, you can't replace a battery. They have a 5 or a 10-year shelf life. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah, I want to add one more thing. With all these lithium batteries that are out, definitely pay attention. That's another safety thing I'm going to talk about this year, is how you charge them. You know, like you get your phone, a certain cable comes with it, but it breaks, and then you go out and buy another one. They're finding out that they could cause it to overheat the battery and start fires. So be very aware of that. If you have any kids visiting with their little scooters, or anybody has an electric bike here, be very cautious about them overheating and lighting on fire. So that's a big thing going on. And if they do, just leave the house and call us, because you will get burned, because they're very hard to put out, battery fires. And that's all I had. And that's why, like he said, common sense goes far. Get yourself a smoke detector. Go look up in the yellow pages showing my age, and you get someone come out and install them. And you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you. Okay, we only have 115 delegates in, so we do not have a quorum. We're a little shy, but we're still going to move ahead. As far as my report, we're continuing the ongoing education. The second Friday of the month by invitation, usually the president or the vice president, about 10 or 12 at a time, come into the UCO office and we go over what our responsibility is, what UCO's responsibility is, and what the association's responsibility is. If you can't make it or you don't, you're just a board member, you're not an officer, or you're an owner, you're welcome to come the third Friday of the month in room C from 9:30 to 11:30. Presentation takes about an hour and a half, and then we have about a half hour or so to answer questions. It's being pretty well attended, and everybody that comes in seems to enjoy the information that we gave. February 11th at the Expo Center, there will be the 4-hour certification class that's now mandatory. So if you go online, put Condo Expo West Palm Beach, and it'll pop up. The class is from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12. If you have not done it, make sure that you do it. There seems to be a little bit of confusion. We're getting phone calls and people coming in from board members that they're still working on their budgets. They're having meetings in January and February to settle their budgets. You're a little late. The other one is the insurance. I had a woman come in yesterday. They want to know when they can turn their insurance forms in, okay? That was due December 19th. So if you're on the board, make sure that through the years, as time goes by, that you follow up on these things. Your annual meeting is one thing, but your financial meetings and your organizational meetings, that all needs to be done. And especially when it comes to finances, if you have Seacrest, personally, they have some new issues in there. Check the papers that they give you. The financials that they give are sometimes incorrect, and they eliminated 4 line items from my budget. One of them was their landscaping. Okay? So be careful, read it, go over it. If you are a board member, review it with the rest of your board. So the more eyes you have on it, and if you have questions, call Seacrest, come into the office, call Don. We're all there to try to help you, but you got to stay on top of it, okay? As far as progress, most of you know that starting 2 years ago, I started tracing the amount of work that's done at the UCO office. So I'm glad to tell you that for 2024, from January to December, 2 volunteers and 1 new volunteer, Gloria, Michael, and Irene, that has been working with updating barcodes and installing barcodes, thanks to Stuart and whoever else, David, and whoever else is there. We have serviced 4,800 people for the year of 2024. That's 1,700 new barcodes. So please give them a round of applause, because they're there every day. And they should be appreciated. So, and we're also looking in, once we lose the volunteers, how much it's going to cost you on a monthly basis to have those jobs filled by people that are on payroll. Anybody have any questions for me before I move on? Oh, good, thank you. Treasurer's report.
Morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Happy New Year. I want to follow up on the law enforcement report regarding scams and such. We do have every Wednesday the Seniors versus Crime folks come to the office and take phone calls, drop-ins. Anybody that thinks that they have any kind of scam, being presented to them, come to the office on Wednesday afternoon. Now, if you check on Channel 590, I have a flyer that is on continuously that gives their phone number. So if you want to just call them, they'll return your call. So I highly recommend that. We're doing a good job according to our law enforcement folks, but I want to just reiterate, it's that time of year when a lot of us are here, and scams are ripe at this time. So just want to follow up on that. Now, as far as the treasurer's report, the accounts receivable is in the packet this month. I don't always include it because it's an ongoing thing, but I'm very proud of this. You all have done a great job listening and watching, and we're down to just a handful of just small bookkeeping issues. And this is at the end of the year. There's 1 or 2 checks that just didn't make it through to, so there's no serious problem. When I first became treasurer, we had 3 pages of accounts receivable messes, and we had to really dig in, and everyone was so cooperative. I want to thank everyone for working with us to get this accounts receivable down, because it's your money. We want to make sure that it flows correctly, so it has been doing that. And as far as following up on what Fausto was saying about, it is kind of getting on there. You've got to get your budget put together. And I have been getting a lot of calls, which is a good thing. People come and ask about, how does this budget work? I mean, where is the UCO charge in the Seacrest budget proposal? So we've been working with people, and I really welcome that. Anybody that has any questions about how to put that budget together, Seacrest does it. And you need to talk to Seacrest, but if they're UCO-related questions, come on in. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. Call me on the phone. We can have a discussion. I can send you whatever you need to back up the information. So it's a good thing that you're all getting involved in the process. So I want to thank you. And again, check Channel 590 as often as you can. We're putting a lot of announcements. We feel it's the best way to communicate what's going on in the village. Right now, the meeting at La Quinta on January 24th, I have that flyer running. We also put at the back of your packet if you would tear that page off and post it on your bulletin board so that we know everybody has seen it. We want to make sure we get a good showing, because it's a big subject here, and we want everyone who has questions to come. And on 590, I will put Neil's contact information for questions to be, and we'll funnel those questions in through the office. So we'll make sure that everyone gets their answers, that we address everything. And other than that, if you have any questions for me, feel free.
Deborah Fulton again from Dorchester G. We did our budget. We checked every line. We fixed a few things and changed a few things. And everything was fine until I checked the math on the bottom, and the monthly amounts for each unit were off by a few dollars each. So do your math as well as your checking. Because
Yeah.
it took me 2 weeks to get Seacrest to change it and fix it. And it was only a formula error. It was just mathematical, had nothing to do with the numbers. The numbers were fine. It was just the mathematical calculation of each unit's monthly amount. So that's something else you can double check
Yeah.
when you're doing your budgets.
Definitely, old-fashioned math. It always comes in handy. Thank you for that. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Ruth wants to give you a report on the UCO Reporter.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. When do we stop saying Happy New Year? Somewhere along March, I suspect. The reporter did very well. I have it through December 31st. What you have in your packet is just November. The reporter made $21,668 for the year. A lot of that is attributed to the campaign ads. We had a lot of them this year. Other than that, I have nothing else to report, except I take your bios for elections, so get them in before January 10th. I'm sure David will have much more in his report about it. That's about it. See you the first Friday of next month. I think it's the 7th. See you then.
Thank you, Ruth. David, you're up.
Good morning to all 115 people who showed up. Thank you. Well, there's more than 115, but 115 delegates. In the packet, you will see 3 different sheets pertaining to the elections. March 7th is the election, and there's also what you have to do, who's running, and also what you need to know if you're nominated from the floor. Nominations from the floor will be at the next Delegate Assembly in February. I encourage everybody to get their bio in by the 10th. That's the best way to do it. There's plenty of opportunities, and we need people to volunteer to run. The next thing I want to touch on is what Joanne and Fausto were both talking about. I made a new friend, as I do every month here. He came over and asked me about not being able to sign in. Well, we didn't get an updated report. And guess what happened? The association gave it to Seacrest. Believe me, Seacrest will not bring that into the UCO office. If you give them a copy of your officers and so forth, make sure you have another copy to bring into the UCO office so it can be recorded. Seacrest will not bring that form into us. Don't ask me why. I'm not going to tell you or get into an argument about it. They just don't do it. So make sure that your association brings in the new delegate and officers report. And that's all I have to say, except Happy New Year again, and please volunteer to run for office. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Patricia?
Good morning, everyone. A happy and healthy new year, and I will continue to say it for a while. Glad to see everyone. I'm going to go on a different note today. Usually I talk about transportation, but it really doesn't matter how many times I talk about transportation because yesterday I got a form, no name, no time, no anything, with a bunch of complaints, and it went right into the garbage pail. The bus company doesn't want to see that. If you don't put your name, you don't put the time, the bus, etc., there's no way for them to follow up. There has been suspensions in the past, and they have been training new drivers, so it is effective. And a lot of people who come to my meeting tell me that the company has called them. So please, if you have something to say, no one's coming after you, no one's going to yell at you. Just put your name, phone number, the date, the time, and the bus number, like 123 East or West. Okay, on another note, it's sad to say how many people come in to see me, they have absolutely no board. These buildings that got red flags and everything was because the owners did not take an interest. We live here, we own property, we should be proud of it, and we should get involved. Step up to the plate. I was on the board 10 years. I turned 81. I thought I was through volunteering, but I'm back volunteering on the board again. So it means a lot to me. It's very, very, very nice where I live. It's very well kept, and that's important. So just get involved, and I'm not going to go on. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Patricia. She just signed a new contract for the next 10 years, so she'll be here until she's 91. We have a question in the back?
Yes, it's Michael Brenner again. I read somewhere that board members are not allowed to serve for more than 8 years. Is that true?
Oh, that's not true.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Yeah, if there's no one else on the board, I think it's 4 consecutive terms. And then after that, if nobody else is on the board, but then you can go back on.
That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jean Berman, Northampton Inn. I can also add to that. I think what their confusion lies is when you do that 4-hour course, after you have to do an annual for up to year 7, and then if you're on for year 8 or more, you have to redo the 4-hour course. It's not that you can't be on the board for more than 8 years. It's that you need to recertify. So I think as far as how many years somebody can serve on a given buildings board is probably up to their individual rules.
There was a limit put on the amount of years that someone could serve on the board 2 years ago. But, okay, any other questions on that? Stuart, you're up.
I think that you all will agree that the more information you have at your disposal, the better the running of your associations will be. And that is the reason why 2 months ago we had asked you to vote on these electronic signs which would alert you to different things that are going on in the village. And I'd like you to consider that again. I'm going to bring it up at the next delegate meeting for you to consider. Just based on what happened today, there were discussions about meetings that people didn't know were happening, budgets and other things like that. These items could be displayed on a continuous basis, and the more you see it, the more you're reminded, and the more you're reminded, the quicker you will react to it. So please consider, it's not very expensive, but it does keep you informed. I know we have the newspaper, we have the television and so on, but we get so many people coming into the office with a statement saying, I didn't know. How do I find out? And we repeat to them what we already produce. The other thing I'd like you to consider is when you're walking around the village, please be careful. We have more and more characters riding 2- and 3-wheel vehicles where people walk, and they are going faster and faster and faster. And if you don't look out for what's coming in front of you or behind you, you can get hurt. So please be very careful about what's going on in the village, and that's it.
Thank you, Stuart. Do we have any unfinished business? We have a question in the back.
Irene Bernard, Sheffield H. On the description of the duties for the open seats on the UCO board, it says to look at Article 5, the UCO bylaws, but can you give me a web address to at least get to that?
Sure, just send me an email and I'll send you a copy of our bylaws. That goes for everybody, by the way. Need a copy? Just let me know.
Or stop by the office. We have a box full of them. So all you have to do is ask. And do we have any unfinished business? Any unfinished business? Good. Do we have any new business? Ooh. There's a microphone back there, ma'am.
Okay, this is in regards to Breeze Line.
Can you tell us who you are?
Oh,
And
I'm Dot Habig, and I'm in Sheffield E. And this is in regards to Breeze Line. I got upgraded to the Wi-Fi. The girls in the office are very rude, not helpful. I asked for Wi-Fi. They told me it would be $43 and something. The tech came out and he said, "Oh, you're just getting Wi-Fi. That's only $17 a month." I said, "I was never offered that. I was just told that it was $43. They are very unhelpful, and it's very hard to deal with them. I was there 4 times to find out what is available and never got a straight answer, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what I'm being paid, what I'm getting or what I'm being paid for. The guy only installed was only going to install the tower for the Wi-Fi, and then he gave me a TiVo box because, you know.
that's the package that we have.
Okay, that's the package that you have, but the girls at the guy only was going to install a Wi-Fi tower. That's all he was going to install. He was not going, until I asked him, and he says, "Oh, no, this is all you asked for was Wi-Fi." The whole principle is there a new contract?
There is no new contract.
Okay, is there some way that we can, as individuals, see what we're supposed to be paying for in your contract?
You have an itemized bill that comes. The only thing I can say, and I'm not taking sides here.
Okay.
The issue is that they have 2 officers. One is by Aldi's, by Party City and here, and they alternate people back and forth. And so the one in the supermarket area, they do retail, and they're not aware of the bulk agreements that we have.
Okay.
So depending on if they have a new person, they may not be aware of it. But if you like to come into the office and see me, I'll go over everything with you and we'll get you an answer.
Okay, thank you.
All right. There's no reason for them to be rude. Yes. Hold on. Yes, Flo, go ahead.
Hi, Flo Simpson, Chatham U. Mr. President, what is happening with the farmers that come in? Are we going to get anybody to replace Walgreens?
No, at this point, we don't, the only thing we can tell you is it's being worked on. It's not our building. The current owner is working to try to get a new pharmacy in there. They're trying to sign a contract with somebody. That's what we're being told.
Okay, how about the laundry room? I thought we was going to overhaul that, because that laundry room out there is hideous.
That's in the process too. We have an architect, we have a contractor. We're waiting for some plans on how we can update it and how much we're going to spend at it. Right, Donald?
Correct. The architect's plan should be in shortly, and then it'll go through the committees and officers, and ultimately you guys will vote on it. This is for refurbishment of the community laundry in the Plymouth section.
Okay, thank you. While I'm here, can I just thank everyone for their donation
Absolutely.
Okay, everyone who donated their medical supplies, our clinic can help, came and picked them up, and we filled up the truck. We did an excellent job donating all your used medical supplies to someone who needs them. And the program is still ongoing. And please, whatever you have, just contact me or send an email to Donald. He will get to me, and we will definitely come and pick it up. And while I'm here, I want to thank Neil and his boss for all the things you did for us for Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. And our group gave back. We donated over 1,000 pair of socks to the Lord's Place. Thank you so much for helping us out.
Yes, ma'am.
Joyce Singerman, Oxford 400. This is in follow-up to the Breeze Line issue. I totally agree with this woman as far as the rudeness of the women, and it appears to be the same women all the time in the office. And you mentioned that the other office by Sprouts is more retail.
It is retail, has nothing to do with Century Village.
Okay, so don't you think that the representatives that are in the office in Century Village should be able to adequately give information to new owners that may stop by?
I'll let her finish. Killed the mic.
Anyway, is that something that could be followed up with?
We have this has been discussed when we have our meeting with our contractor, but we will follow up again on it. But in the future, if you have a specific date that it happens, could you please stop by the office and let me know?
You know,
Because
it's
if I have a
nothing-
specific date and time, then they can look and see who was there.
You know, it's not always a serious, you know, it's not a specific issue. It's overall an attitude of those people. And I stopped in there to get a replacement remote. We don't have them. Here's a card with their telephone number. Call this number and they'll give it. I stopped in to return a neighbor's equipment, a friend's equipment, who had just moved out this week, and put the equipment over there on a bench. I thought she was going to scan it or something. She just, from her desk, just wrote down, asked me what unit number, the name on the account, and there was such attitude and rudeness as though it's not their responsibility or their
Okay.
job.
Please put something in writing.
Okay.
Drop it by the office, give it to me, and we meet once a month with the vendor, okay? And we will discuss it with them.
Okay.
All right? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, Eddie Bateman from 190 Berkshire Eye. I'm watching TV sometimes, and I'll get some voice on there. Like if I put it on mute, it'll say, "Oh, it's been muted." When I raise the volume, the lady will say, "Oh, it's now on 43 or 42 or whatever." They talk about Wi-Fi, and I don't even want Wi-Fi. I don't have it, and I'm wondering, how do you get rid of this?
I don't know, what are you trying to get rid of that you don't have?
That voice that keeps interrupting while I'm trying to watch a program.
That's coming out of your television, sir. It's not coming from
I-
your cable company. It's
Yeah.
a smart TV, and sometimes it's not so smart.
What's that?
Yeah, okay.
The settings? Okay, fine.
Is that you, Sandy, back there?
Yeah, that's me. Sandy Friedson, Salisbury Eye. I've been getting calls. How come we can't get a bus over to BJ's in with the Brandsmart? They go to the outlets.
I'll be happy to answer that. Excuse me. Hi, Sandy. Someone else called me about a particular stop. We originally started with 110 stops. We're about at 168. And many of my conversations with the company, they said they will not change one more thing. Otherwise, it would be a new contract and a lot more than $1 million. So in answer to your question, the stops that they designated are the stops that we have presently. I would love to, but I can't give everyone what they want. I had a problem when I gave a stop to the church, and now I was told that if they're not out by within 1 hour, they're going to leave. So I'm not going to argue with anyone. The contract is the contract. You're welcome to come in. I'll sit down with you and show you, and we still have some years left on it. But it's impossible to accommodate everyone. I go by the majority of people. Most of the changes made, people brought me in literally a stack like that. And then I presented to the company, and I was able to get the change. But if only a handful of people, even 20 people, it's just not enough. So I am sorry that you have to go to
I'm
a
not
different...
blaming you, Pat, but I just wanted to get an
No, it's
answer
okay.
because basically they figure it's so close, across the street, basically.
I know, but that's what I hear about a lot of other stops. Why don't you go to Citibank? It's across the street. So I said to the lady, but it comes here, you could cross the street, but I'm afraid. I understand that. I don't see very well, so someone has to help me. So I can understand that, but we just can't accommodate everyone. There's literally thousands of people in here, and believe me, hundreds of them come into my office. And I'm sorry that people feel that way. I'm doing the best I can, and I think there is a sufficient amount of stops where you can have to walk a little bit. I'm
Well,
sorry.
thank you for your info and
Okay.
doing a good job. But
God bless you.
they're asking me, I want to get them off the
I know.
back, you know what I mean?
I do. Do I know? Yes. I do. Take care.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Belinda Griffin, Gulf's Edge. I'd like to know, going out of the exit at Okeechobee, there are 3 lanes that turn. Is there any plans for the lines to be repainted because they're so faint now that people are in the wrong lines to turn, to go straight, to turn left or right?
Short answer, yes. It's been about 3 years since we've had a restriping job. I'll put it on my list for 2025. You're right, it's about time.
Okay, thank you so much.
But there should only be 2 lanes going out of that exit, not 3.
Yeah, there's 3 painted lines. There's one going left, one going
Oh.
straight, and one going
Okay.
right.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Commissioner Weiss, I'll leave it up to you.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a nice holiday. A couple things to make you aware of. If you don't recall what it was like around here 4 years ago, just a reminder, they're going to be instituting, and they already have, temporary flight restrictions, but they're going to become more restrictive with the inauguration of President Trump. It'll have impacts on the operations at the airport, so shutdowns and things will occur to accommodate the security so they can do the sweeps. So if you're going to be traveling, just want to make you aware, always be checking ahead now because things are going to be operating a little bit differently over there. But it's all in the name of security, and I think as Americans we want to keep everybody secure. The second thing to mention to you all again is the traffic, and to just please take your time. If it takes a couple extra minutes to get somebody somewhere, take the couple of extra minutes. Niels was telling me on his way in today, this morning, he was making a left turn from Haverhill onto Century Drive, or Boulevard, and he was in the left turn lane waiting for the green light, green arrow, and with a red light, somebody went around him and made a left turn in front of him, and that's just so dangerous. You can't see who's coming or if there's a pedestrian, and just beg you to please take your time. And then lastly, I want to thank Donald Foster. I get to see your UCO, the weekly updates that he puts together, the work that goes into those reports he puts out every week. But he also identified the deficiencies that were happening, made our building department aware to get back involved with what was happening. So just thank you, Donald, for all the work you do. And again, reminder, on the 24th, we're going to have a town hall here. Please, if you have questions regarding the proposed purchase of the La Quinta, send your questions in. We will get them over to staff to have them prepared to answer them. I mean, they'll be here to answer questions regardless, but the more we can get them prepared to address your particular questions, the better it'll be for a meeting. And so I want to wish everybody a very happy, healthy, and peace-filled 2025.
Amy, would you like to say a few words?
Sunshine.
Good morning. My name is Amy Ebersbach. I am from Constitutional Tax Collector Ann Gannon's office. Happy New Year, everyone. Just a couple reminders. This month, for property tax payments, it is a 2% discount. Next month is 1%. March, there's no discount, and the deadline to pay is March, the last day of March. And also a reminder, you can sign up for our IPP program, which is the installment payment plan to be used for your 2025 taxes. That information is online at www.pbctax.gov. Also a reminder, because we're talking about traffic, you don't like traffic, then check our website out. You can avoid a trip to our office. Many of the services are available online. So once again, that's www.pbctax.gov. Take a look through it and see if we could serve you online before you have to make that trip into the office. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Who's that?
That's, I think.
All right, good morning, everybody. Colleen Reamer, Clerk Abruzzo's office. Just wanted to say hi and again, kind of share what Amy said. A lot of our services are offered online. Starting January 1st, which was a couple days ago, we piloted a program in November for free passport pictures for any veterans. We actually was very successful, and so Clerk Abruzzo decided to extend that for anybody, for veterans, for the whole year 2025. So it's offered at our branches where we do services for passports, and that would be South, North, and West. And again, if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. Colleen Reamer, Joe Abruzzo's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Derek, you're up.
Excuse me for being so rude this morning.
Uh-oh.
Funny. Excuse me for being so rude this morning. Someone scheduled another call. But simply, I just want to say thank you for allowing Congressman Mast and I to continue to represent you. And if there's anything that we can do to help, please reach out to me. I've given out my personal cell phone number a number of times. I'll do it again because I chose this profession for a reason. It's called public service. Similar to our wonderful UCO board. Thank you, Ruth, so much for all your wonderful comments about service. My cell phone number is 202-313-8117. 202-313-8117. So if you have any federal issues, please feel free to reach out to me. On a personal note, I am going to reach out to the UCO recorder because I happen to be the president of the Loxahatchee Battlefield Preservationist Board. We have a wonderful reenactment that's coming up with reference to the 187th Second Seminole War. If your families happen to be from Michigan or New York, I'm sure you're familiar with Cadillac, Pontiac, Seneca, and Iroquois tribes. I happen to be part Cherokee, so I am thrilled to be a part of this exceptional event, to include my great-great-grandfather, Reverend J.P. Hankerson, who was in Tallahassee, assisted with reconstruction in Florida, and that was implementing Special Field Order Number 15, which William Tecumseh Sherman wrote on January 18th, 1865, on the battlefield in Georgia. President Lincoln signed that policy, which was implemented through DOD 4 days later. And here we are today with a great and exceptional place that's called America. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Do we have anything for the good of the order? Anything for the good of the order? Did we miss anybody? No. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody. Joyce makes a motion to adjourn. John Timmerman seconds that motion. Ladies and gentlemen, have a safe trip home, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone.